Hello people on the internet. In this video we are going to talk about the top 5 programming languages for 2021. Not only programming languages, but we'll be also talking about frameworks, libraries and tools, databases and platforms. Now the data I'll be presenting to you in this video will be from GitHub, Google Trends and StackOverflow Developer Survey 2020 combined. So to decide the best technologies, we'll make them compete against each other. There will be 3 main criteria: popularity, future score and median salary. The result will be based on another criterion which is called cluster, about which I'll be talking later in the video. So before we jump into the video, smash that like button, share this video with others so they can learn as well, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as I'll be making more of these amazing videos. So let's get started.
Round 1. Popularity.
For this round, I have taken the data about the top 10 most popular programming languages and technologies both from GitHub and StackOverflow. According to the data from GitHub, these are the top 10 most popular programming languages. And according to the data from StackOverflow, these are the top 10 most popular technologies. Combining both the data, we have our list of top 10 most popular programming languages and technologies. Unsurprisingly, for the 8th year in the row, JavaScript has maintained a stronghold as the most commonly used programming language. And without any doubt, Python takes the second place. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, Java takes the third place because it is a very powerful language and has deep roots in the tech industry. Going further down the list, we see moderate gains for C# and TypeScript edging out C and C++ in terms of popularity. Additionally, we also have some newer and trendier technologies like Go and Kotlin. According to the data from StackOverflow, these are the top 10 most popular web frameworks. When talking about web frameworks, we see that jQuery is still in the first place, but it is losing its position to React and Angular year over year, while ASP.NET and Express take the 4th and the 5th place. So here is the list of top 10 frameworks, libraries and tools. For the second year in the row, Node.js takes the top spot. We can also see growth in the popularity of data analysis and machine learning technologies like Pandas and TensorFlow. Looking at the database technologies, MySQL takes the top spot, followed by PostgreSQL and Microsoft SQL Server. We can also see some growth in the popularity of Firebase. Linux and Windows platform continue to maintain the top spot. We can also see some growth in the popularity of container technologies like Docker and Kubernetes. So after the first round, this is a list of top 5 most popular programming languages, frameworks, libraries, tools, databases and platforms.
Round 2. Future score.
In this round, we are going to take the data about the most loved, dreaded and wanted technologies. Then we will add the most loved score and the most wanted score of the technology, and we will subtract the dreaded score from the sum. The result we obtain will be our future score. So here is the list of top 10 most loved, dreaded and wanted programming languages. After calculating the future score, this is our list of top 10 languages that will probably have a better chance of growing in the future. Unsurprisingly, Python takes the first place, followed by Rust. We also see big growths in TypeScript, Go and Kotlin. So here is the list of top 10 web frameworks that will probably have a better chance of growing in the future. ASP.NET Core is the most loved web framework, beating out React.js. But we see that React.js has a better future score, followed by Vue.js. ASP.NET Core takes the third place, followed by Express and Django. .NET Core and PyTorch are the most loved of the other frameworks, libraries and tools. But we see that Flutter and Node.js have a better future score compared to PyTorch. Therefore, PyTorch takes the 4th place, followed by TensorFlow. Taking a look at database technologies, Redis remains the most loved, followed by PostgreSQL and Elasticsearch. But PostgreSQL has a better future score, followed by Redis and MongoDB. Elasticsearch takes the 4th place, followed by Firebase. Linux remains the most loved platform. Container technologies, Docker and Kubernetes rank as the 2nd and 3rd most loved. In terms of future score, Docker takes the 1st place, followed by Linux and Kubernetes. We have AWS in the 4th place, followed by Raspberry Pi. So after the second round, this is the list of top 5 programming languages, web frameworks, libraries, tools, databases and platforms that have the best future score.
Round 3. Median salary.
According to StackOverflow, globally, developers who use Perl, Scala and Go tend to have higher salaries, with a median salary of around $75,000. But Perl is one of the top 3 most dreaded programming languages. While looking only at United States, we see that Scala developers tend to have higher salaries, followed by Go and Objective-C. But Objective-C is one of the top 2 most dreaded programming languages. So what we can conclude from the data is that the salary of a developer mainly depends on these factors. First, it depends on the location or the place where they stay. For example, according to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a backend developer in India is about 7,30,000 rupees or $10,000 US. But in the United States, the average base salary of a backend developer is about $126,000 or 92 lakh rupees per year. Second, it depends on the company they are working for. For example, according to Indeed.com, the top company for a backend developer in the United States pays about $200,000 or 1 crore 50 lakh rupees per year, while it may vary in the case of other companies. Third, it depends on what type of developer you are. For example, the average base salary of a backend developer in the United States is about $126,000 per year, and that of a front-end developer is around $110,000 per year. So how are we going to decide what are the best technologies? We are going to decide this based on a criteria called clusters. So a cluster is a group of technologies that are correlated. In other words, these are the technologies that a developer tends to use together. So in total, we have 8 clusters. Each of this may include a language, a framework, a database, or a platform. Okay, so at number 1, it is the JavaScript or the Windows cluster. This is the biggest cluster in our list. These are the languages, frameworks, databases, and platforms included in the JavaScript or Windows cluster. If you want to become a web developer, this is the best cluster for you. We see a lot of web development technologies connected together via SQL to the Microsoft technologies. Now, learning a cluster doesn't mean you need to learn all the technologies in the cluster. Knowing a few of the technologies is more than enough. Now, looking at the JavaScript or the Windows cluster, all the languages are very important. But again, you don't need to know all of them. I would say you should learn JavaScript. Now, learning a language is not enough. You must know at least one framework. My suggestion, learn React. Once you think you know fairly much about JavaScript, learn TypeScript or C#. If you are learning C#, also learn ASP.NET or ASP.NET Core. Now, HTML and CSS are not programming languages. But if you want to become a front-end developer, these are the basic technologies that you must know. Okay, so at number 2, it is the Python or the Linux cluster. This is the second biggest cluster on our list. These are the languages, frameworks, databases, and platforms included in the Python or the Linux cluster. If you want to become a backend developer, this is the best cluster for you. We see a lot of operational technologies connected to Python through Linux. If you are learning about the Python or the Linux cluster, learn Python first. Now, learning Python alone isn't enough. You must know at least one framework. My suggestion, learn Django. Later, you can explore machine learning, AI, and data analysis technologies like TensorFlow and Pandas. Once you think you know fairly much about Python, learn Go, which is a newer and trendier technology. Okay, so at number 3, it is the Java or the Android cluster. This is the third biggest cluster on our list. These are the languages, frameworks, databases, and platforms included in the Java or the Android cluster. If you want to become an app developer, this is the best cluster for you. We see a lot of app development technologies connected to the Java or the Android cluster. If you are learning about the Java or the Android cluster, learn Java first. Now, learning Java alone isn't enough. You must know at least one framework. My suggestion, learn Spring. Once you think you know fairly much about Java, learn Kotlin or Flutter if you want to develop cross-platform applications. You can also learn Swift and Objective-C if you want to build macOS or iOS applications. Okay, so at number 4, we have C or C++ cluster. These are the languages in C or C++ cluster. At number 5, we have the Scala cluster. These are the languages and frameworks in the Scala cluster. At number 6, we have the Ruby cluster. These are the languages and frameworks in the Ruby cluster. At number 7, we have the Raspberry Pi cluster. These are the platforms in the Raspberry Pi cluster. If you want to learn about the embedded applications, this is the best cluster for you. And lastly, at number 8, we have the Unity cluster. These are the platforms in the Unity cluster. If you want to become a game developer, this is the best cluster for you. Okay, so it is time that I tell you my list of top 5 programming languages for 2021. Unsurprisingly, at number 1, it is going to be JavaScript. JavaScript has maintained its stronghold as the most commonly used programming language for the past 8 years. Though it didn't have a very good future score, it has a lot of technologies connected to it in the JavaScript cluster, which again ranks number 1 in our list of clusters. JavaScript is also one of the fastest growing programming languages. Now, if you are learning JavaScript, I would suggest learning at least one framework. My suggestion, learn React. Now, here is the list of companies that use JavaScript: Microsoft, PayPal, Netflix, Uber, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Airbnb, Spotify, Instagram, and many more. According to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a JavaScript developer in India is around 5 lakh rupees, and that in the United States is around $110,000. Without any doubt, at number 2, it is going to be my favorite programming language, Python. Python is the fastest growing and the most loud programming language. If you are a beginner or someone who just started learning Python, I'm sure you're in love with this programming language. Python does deserve the number 1 position because it has the best future score. It is also one of the most loved programming languages and is number 1 in the list of most wanted programming languages. It ranks second in the list of most popular programming languages as well. The amount of things you can do with this language is just amazing. Web development, game development, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science and visualization, desktop GUI, web scraping, business applications, audio and video applications, CAD applications, embedded applications to name a few. So Python does deserve the first position along with JavaScript. Now if you are learning Python, I would suggest learning at least one framework. My suggestion, learn Django. Later you can explore machine learning, AI and data analysis libraries like TensorFlow and Pandas. Now here is the list of companies that use Python. Amazon, Dropbox, Facebook, Google, Instagram, Netflix, Quora, Reddit, Spotify, Uber and many more. According to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a Python developer in India is around 5,50,000 rupees. And that in the United States is $115,000. And number 3, it is going to be Go. Go is one of the most loved programming languages and is also one of the highest paid. Go is a newer and trendier language that was designed at Google. It is an open source programming language that makes it easy to build simple, reliable and efficient software. Go has grown in the past and I believe it will grow in the future as well. Now here is the list of companies that use Go. Google, YouTube, Facebook, Yahoo, Uber, Twitch, Dropbox, Medium, BBC, Slack and many more. At number 4, it is going to be Java.
What? Java is dead. Who uses Java?
So before you comment all this, let me tell you that Java is not dead. Java is like that man who is old but still very healthy. Java is one of the most popular programming languages and has several technologies connected to it in the Java cluster. Now if you are a beginner who is just getting started with programming and doesn't want to learn Python, I would suggest learn Java. Yes, I know that Java is difficult compared to Python if you're just getting started, but if you wish to, you can still learn Java. For a long time, Java has been a stable programming language for developing web applications, Android applications, and software tools like Eclipse, IntelliJ IDEA, NetBeans IDE, etc. Today, Java's use cases have been expanded to data science applications, machine learning applications and even IoT. So if you are learning Java, I would suggest learning at least one framework. My suggestion, learn Spring. Now here is the list of companies that use Java. Airbnb, Uber, Google, Pinterest, Netflix, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, Slack, NASA and many more. According to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a Java developer in India is around 5 lakh rupees. And that in the United States is around $100,000. Now choosing the 5th spot was a bit difficult, but this year I am going to give it to 2 programming languages, C# and C++, because I feel that both are equally good at what they can do. Now C# is not a language that is much spoken about, but I would say it is a very beautiful language. It is also on our list of the most popular programming languages. C# is a simple, readable and easy to use. It is also easy to maintain, fast and safe. It also has a fantastic community support. Its ability to develop many kinds of apps on several operating systems is just amazing. C# is widely used in game development too, and Microsoft has your back. C# extends JavaScript development via TypeScript. And the last reason is that C# is evolving. Now if you are learning C#, I would suggest learning at least one framework. My suggestion, learn ASP.NET. Now here is the list of companies that use C#. Microsoft, StackOverflow, UPS, GoDaddy, GE Aviation, HCL, Tencent, Alibaba Travels, Accenture, MasterCard and many more. According to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a .NET developer in India is around 4,50,000 rupees. And that in the United States is around $100,000. Now here is the list of companies that use C++. Google, Twitch, Lyft, Accenture, Telegram, Walmart, Amazon, PayPal, Microsoft, LinkedIn and many more. According to Indeed.com, the average base salary of a C++ developer in India is around 60,000 rupees and that in the United States is around $7,000. Now I would also like to mention 2 other programming languages that are equally good as the top 5. They are TypeScript and Kotlin. Now TypeScript deserves the 5th spot. Both the languages have grown in the past and I believe they will continue growing in the future as well. So if you are learning JavaScript, spend a little time learning TypeScript, and if you are learning Java, spend a little time learning Kotlin.
So this was the list of top 5 programming languages, technologies, frameworks, libraries, tools, databases and platforms for 2021. Now if the language you are learning or wish to learn did not make it to the top 5, do not worry, you can still learn the language. Top 5 doesn't mean that you should learn only these languages. Every language is good at what it can do. Now if you want to learn all these languages, technologies, etc., make sure you hit that subscribe button, as I'll be posting all kinds of resources, tutorials, videos, courses that you need to become a successful programmer. So smash that subscribe button and turn the notifications on so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Most of the people who are watching my videos haven't subscribed yet, so please do subscribe. It's free, you don't need to pay for it. All the videos and tutorials on this channel are for free, so smash that subscribe button, it helps me to create more videos for you. So if you like this video, smash that like button and share it with others so they can learn as well. Also follow me on Instagram, I'll be posting programming and web development related content every single day. If you haven't visited my website yet, head over to dioncardoza.com. It is my coding school where I'll be uploading all my tutorials and courses. Also join the community at patreon.com/dioncardoza. Also check out the school clothing, the link is in the description. So that is it for this video. See you in the next one. Until then, happy coding.